Yeah. You don't want to take the bill, you want a nickel, okay? You did argue with him and everything, and he worked the nickel, yes, you want to keep it, and if he owned it, if you want $1 for it, you have to store it. Abraham Lincoln used this, you know? Road there. No. Tommy's got that now. Yes, Tommy has been done the whole thing. You've been on everything. Roll call. This County Commission meeting to order, Monday, September 21st, 2020. At this time, would everyone please stand? Please work in some prayer and bring the bottom of the plate.
Let's all pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this being blessed of mine, watching over us another day. Heavenly Father, walk with us. Dear Heavenly Father, save and help us make decisions for our county. Dear Heavenly Father, bless each and every one. Dear Heavenly Father, Heavenly Father, bless our soldiers, our first responders. Receive the Heavenly Father. Heavenly Father, go with them, Jesus. Heavenly Father, show them the way that you have them to travel. Be with us, dear Heavenly Jesus. Thank you for all that you do in our lives, dear Heavenly Jesus. But most of all, Lord, I want to thank you for the plan of salvation. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Okay, Charles Bayer. Blaine Bayer. Johnny Bruce.
Here.
Ralph Davis.
Here.
Carl Douglas.
Here.
Big Gordon.
Here.
Robert Higginbotham.
Here.
Tyler King.
Here.
Jody Kidd.
Here.
Carl Bishop. Yeah, Diane is that call your name? Diane is that call your name?
please bear with us. It's been several months since we've been back in a regular meeting, so.
We may have to do it and then. This is Gary. I think they had to do that.
Yeah, I had his,
Did you switch them? I had to switch.
I don't know, I just speak on that.
Okay.
I mean,
Their name plate's wrong too.
Of their computer screens is wrong, when I hope the remote's there, so I can switch them. So, okay. Fish Meyer,
He's not here.
Leslie Lester here. Dag Marlowe,
Here.
Suzanne.
Here.
Rusty Ward,
Here.
Scott Stevens. Any quick confirm? Is that what you usually do, please? No. That's what you would like before.
You have to reset.
This is Alan, we go to church from Wednesday.
Yes, is roll call, will we take?
Yes,
Um,
we got 10 minutes.
Folks, at this time, I'll ask Maria to come up. We need to elect a chairman and a vice chairman for this commission. So,
Okay, we want to entertain the motion to elect a chairman of the commission.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, that is Robert Higginbotham made the motion, second.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we'll take a vote.
that's anyone else?
Anyone else?
Madam Clerk, I make a motion that nomination cease, Tony Bruce is back.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Rusty made the motion, that nomination cease, and Scotty seconded it. So now we vote. Okay, you want to vote as a standard, or do we need to do the roll call?
We can do it on the machine, don't we?
Okay. Okay.
Vote though.
All right, voting, so register vote.
Please. Okay, anyone wish to change their vote? Show of vote, please.
That is 13 yes. Johnny Bruce as the commissioner shaker.
Do a good job for y'all. Next on the agenda is to elect a vice chair.
Mr. Chairman, I recognize, nominate Robert Hickenbottom to be returned, vice chairman.
Yeah, that's
What's the rest? Oh, yeah, we just want to do rest, he's the vice chairman now, is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm What's your
I'll
motion?
I'll go ahead and nominate Russ to continue, sir.
Okay. I have a motion by Kit to nominate Chris York as the vice chair. Do I have a second? Second. Ms. Nance as the second. Any other nominees?
Make a motion for nomination cease.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion to nomination cease and Russ York be elected by acclamation. Vote please. Be voting for Russ York as the vice chair. Okay. Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote, please.
That's 12 yes, 1 no.
I think you did that before, too.
Oh, you did a good job last year, I never had to do it.
Didn't you vote no last time, too?
Guys, again, thank you, vote, and also, Ms. York, I think you'll do a fine job as vice chair. Okay, very good. In saying that, we have a distinguished group behind us here, of the local law enforcement from the county, cities, and state level. Guys, we know you do a hard job, a tough job. And we just want you to know that, hey, we really appreciate you. Mr. Iqbal is the one that brought this to the forefront. So at this time, Mr. Iqbal, would you step out front, please? He'll read the proclamations to you. I'll read this. From the Campbell County Board of Commissioners, we would like to recognize each of our local law enforcement agencies. The Campbell County Sheriff's Department, the Jacksboro City Police Department, the Carrollville City Police Department, the Jellicoe City Police Department, the La Follette City Police Department, and the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Mr. Iqbal, the floor is yours.
If I get one representative from, each department, step up here, please, and I'll give the right to them. This is from the Campbell County Board of Commissioners. This will be to all departments. Whereas in America today, being an officer of law enforcement holds more uncertainty and danger than it has in the past. However, our officers are no stranger to the dangers than wearing a badge of holiness. Whereas the officers of Carrollville Police Department and amongst other departments show extreme bravery as they do not hesitate to risk their lives to save the lives of others while protecting the citizens of the county and their families and businesses. These officers stand as leaders and educate the community about the importance of public safety. These officers are vital members of the community with a commitment to continue training, skills enhancement, and working with our citizens to achieve peace. And whereas the Campbell County Commission appreciate the extraordinary efforts and sacrifices made by our officers and their families on a daily basis to protect our community, and whereas with such unrest happening all around us, it is important for our men and women of law enforcement to know that your legislative body supports you. We, the Campbell County Commission, back the blue. Now therefore, be it known, we, the Campbell County Commission, thank you for the service and hereby declare the 21st day of September 2020 Campbell County Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Carol. Paul. Jellicoe. Jacksboro. Campbell County. Tennessee Highway Patrol. Thank y'all for your service. Appreciate it.
Now, before we start back, does anyone wish to say anything?
I'd like to take a moment to thank the commission on behalf of the Fayette Police Department. We appreciate it. This will be precious. We'll host it in a prominent place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Same here as Campbell Police Department. Thanks, Commission and Campbell County as well. Thank you.
It's an honor to serve this community, as a law enforcement officer, and all, this week, Jacksboro Police Department as a whole. Thank you all for honoring us.
Anyone else?
We'll definitely echo that as well. Yes, from the highway patrol, yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sheriff's Office.
Again, guys, another round of applause. Continue on with business. Will, tell the family I said hello.
I will, sir. All cousins.
Okay, next order of business is approval of previous minute meetings. I have a motion by Orange, second.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
I have a second by Kent. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please. Vote. Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote please. The approval of previous minutes have passed the commission. Notary public applications and approval.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Kent, and a second by Davis. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please. Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote please. Voting yes, or Republican passed. Committee reports and minutes. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Coker.
So move on the last one, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Marlowe and seconded by Kitts for the committee reports and minutes.
Sir.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please. Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote. Yes, okay, committee reports and minutes have passed. Okay, approval of budget amendments and other funding resolutions. Mr. Ward.
Make a motion to approve 9-1 through 9-9 of the county budget.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Second by Davis. Any discussion? Seeing none, vote please. Anyone wish to change the vote? So the vote please. 10 yes. Approve the budget amendments and funding resolutions. Mr. Ward.
I think we've got some clarifying tonight to do on the EMS budget. I guess all of us, I may take this off. I guess we probably need to suspend the rules because this wasn't brought up last week. And by law, and Joe can confirm, if it wasn't on the agenda, we need to suspend the rules. Make a motion to suspend the rules.
Have a motion to suspend the
So
rules.
move,
Have a
Mr.
second.
Chairman.
Have a second by Kitts. Okay, if you're voting on the suspension, please vote. Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote, please. Or the rules have been suspended, you have the floor.
As you all aware with the email conversations that's happened last week about the funding for the EMS, and as we recall, that we had set aside $179,000 for 4 EMTs for a BLS truck, and we hadn't utilized it. We actually ended up using it at the end of the budget cycle, 1920. Director Perkins and Finance Director Morrow actually needs directions on the funds. And Director Perkins, and he can speak for himself, but he feels that the funds are for personnel hire. And Mr. Marlowe, as our finance director, as we had went through this budget process, and we had filled the budget out, we mirrored this budget to last year's budget. You all agree, I'm sure. But that money that was set aside was used to offset basic charges and run call volume decreases. We used it on June 8th of 2019. So that money, and this is my opinion, and I'm the EMS chairman, that money was set aside this coming year for that. But if you read it, there's needs some clarification. My motion tonight is that funding be still in place, but it's not gonna be used until the county commission approves so. So we'll probably do the same thing with it at the end of the cycle. The commission will have to come forward with a budget amendment to offset the patient charges, declining runs. And if it's not used, it'll still come back for the commission for approval to use somewhere else. That's my motion.
Mr. Chairman, I have a second
We
motion.
have a second about that.
Okay.
Okay. Any discussion?
I got a question here, Mr. Chairman, who would you want me to direct this to? The mayor, Commissioner Orth, or, Bruce, Mr. Director, Bruce Perkins?
Mr. Perkins, you'll have to be the mayor of Mr.
Okay. Chairman, Commissioner Orth, is it 173, 176, or 179? I've been getting different, numbers, and the reason I asked that question is, Mayor, has they been any monies at all been used now that you all were proceeding with this new program? Has people got paid out of this here, or can you give us a little bit of rundown here?
As I understand it, we modified for 2 pay periods to attempt to improve service and use part-time money, not out of this line item.
Okay, back to Commissioner Orr. Was it 176, Commissioner?
I want to verify, Scott, it's actually the funding that the committee had brought to the commission over a year ago and set aside for 4 EMT positions for a basic life support truck. And we actually used that. If you'll give me a second.
That's $176,000.
$176,000. I'm sorry. I
So
missed
again,
the
Mr. Mayor, there's no money that came out of this 176. Am I understanding that correct, sir?
They came out of part-time.
It did come out of part-time. And can you give this commission, this body here, the amount that has been paid with this new program? Can you give us a little bit in depth with that?
I'd like to ask Bruce to give the details on it.
If Mr. Chairman will allow, Mr. Chairman?
I'll take the mayor, Mr. Ford. We do all public addresses at the community workshop. So,
Miss-
now, if, Mr. Ford?
My opinion, if you can allow Mr. Perkins to actually give about 2 minutes synopsis of what's going on, I don't have a problem with it. The committee, before we go into any big detail, this committee set aside years ago when this animal service, I think in the early stages, I think it was in, you may correct me, 1986, Sue probably knows, when all this took place and we adopted an EMS service in Campbell County. The commission is not in charge of daily activities. The committee is not in charge of daily activities. We've been meeting for the last 2 years on the finances. The mayor, he sets in and we look at the finances of the EMS, what our run volume's at, all of our money's been spent. Now, the programs that's been set aside are good programs. Sometimes they don't work financially. And you know, with me and that's what we all sit here all are finance people. We're not bosses. We're people that sits and looks at the budget, decide how the budget's being spent. We set a budget, and we've got to stay inside those parameters. Now, there's a lot of things that I'd like to do in life, but I have to stay inside those parameters. And it's nothing against Mr. Perkins or Mayor Morton or anybody or any employees. They do a great job. But we've got to look out for our service, and that's what I'm looking at. I don't want nobody to walk away from here tonight mad at me and say, well, we killed a program and this and that. It's not that. We're in charge of the finances. Now, I'd actually spoke with the mayor and our EMS director Friday, when the mayor called me today, and I think the mayor, and he can tell you that, he's actually looking at funding to try to offset this. And if the mayor can, if he can just, they've come to a conclusion on this program for right now. I hope that we can get the house in order back in shape again, that
we can actually fund this program. But right now, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, there's 15 opinions here sitting around the table, I've heard two that's not here. But everybody has an opinion.
We ran this pilot for, two and a half pay periods. And, as of Monday, your service is gonna look like it looked like a month and a half ago. So you're gonna have 3 24-hour trucks, you're gonna have a 5-day, 14-hour truck. So, we did some very good things. There are 6 people that are alive today, because we were able to get a paramedic on site that we otherwise would not. But, you know, it pushed overtime up $4,000 or $5,000 over that period, so, the director was chosen to reset by Monday. Back to the 3 and 1 part-time.
So we'll go 3, 24, and 1 14, correct?
5 days, 5 days of 14-hour truck.
That's
5 days.
Ralph, and then Robert.
Mr. Mayor, what's our overtime running like now? That's 2 pay periods.
Those 2 pay periods were in the vicinity of 21,000.
Each pay periods, like $40-some thousand a month.
Correct. But you've been on a $34,000 pace for the last 12 months. So with the 24-hour trucks, you have built-in overtime.
Robert, I'm sorry, Ralph.
What's your plans of changing that?
Well, it increased with this pilot, so we're gonna go back to the 3 trucks and the 1 5-day truck.
I know, but from 2016, 2015, we were giving EMS $125,000 a year. Now we're giving them $100 shy of $1 million a year. Each went up. And then within those 5 years, we put in, people saying we don't care about the ambulance service, but we put in over $5 million. If you go to the chart, finance status, we put in over $5 million in ambulance service the last 5 years. And put $1 million in addition. Every year it's another. And we'd like you to do something to stop the bleeding. We got a bucket here with a hole in it. We need to fix the hole.
Well, we're gonna stop us bleeding, because we're not gonna have many trucks on the road.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Well, as far as stopping the bleeding, we're gonna be where we have been. But for the last 5 years, we've lost $350,000 a year because our zip codes are now urban, except for Jellicoe, for 7762. And there's been no revenue replacement in it. In order to keep the ambulance service working, those have been lost dollars. Everybody here works on it, pretty well aware of it. State legislature has done something to offset, but the price of stocking each truck has gone up 25% over the last 3 years. So, the price of Narcan, used to be, a fifth of what it is now. And those are mandated stock items out there, and there's not been a revenue stream to replace it. Statewide, run volume is reduced, urgent care and Uber and other things taking a bite out of it, and COVID-19 is taking a bite out of it too. So we just have to run as efficiently as we possibly can to provide service. My suggestion that we take some time to analyze revenue sources and the projected market before next budget cycle. This is not something that you're going to snap your fingers and solve overnight.
Nikki and Scotty and Rusty.
Mayor, I know we had an EMS meeting, a couple weeks ago. We discussed this program, and it looked like it was gonna go forward with it. But if you still got your same employees, the same man hours, what are you gonna do? I guess my question is, you're lowering down the hours of, part-time help, or, you're still gonna keep the full-time, the same man hours, the same pay, correct?
No, you're going to remove those paramedics from the lead truck. You're going to remove that shift captain in the independent truck and put them back on a crew. So you're reducing by 3 shift captains, which are all paramedics, and you're moving them back into the truck. So you're taking out an EMT off of your circulation.
Mayor, I don't wanna beat this horse to death, but common sense will tell you every year, I don't know about, since you've been mayor, you do know that it's been increasing every year, just about like Commissioner Davis said, we're at 5 million. We gave it another $1 million close to, I think, Mr. Perkins, that told me 980 if I ain't mistaken. So what if, do you see, okay, when we had this EMS meeting, and you sat there in this chair here, and we were all for it, and Commissioner Orrick had said, this is the best thing I've heard in 14 years, and everybody was convinced, even Commissioner Hickenbottom and Commissioner Bruce. Did you actually know that this was outcome was going to be this way? Did you actually know, sitting in this chair here that night, I'm saying this, with us being blindsided where this money was going to come from? That's all I'm asking, because we all had intent, hopefully, and it kept coming to me that this money was there. You all had the money to do this, and then it came down to this. Can you explain that a little bit to us,
Sure.
please?
The scope of what we intended to do was through the month of December to turn the trend of the overtime back. The dollars were there, except for this vote. But we know that we had to use those position dollars last year to offset patient charges.
But knowing that we didn't have the money for this program, I'm just saying, Mr. Gordon.
We did by use of those slots, and we were clear about using those. And so if this body chooses not to do it, then those slots aren't voted.
So this 2.5, as Mr. Davis would say, this body needs a figure. Did you spend 2.5 weeks of maybe $100,000? Is that about fair to say?
No.
Can you give us a figure?
4,000.
Altogether? In 2.5
You
weeks?
went from 17,000 to 21,000 in overtime. You did that twice, so 4,000 times 2, 8,000.
Total.
Well, that's the difference.
But I do know, from my understanding from Mr. Perkins, that this program did work, right?
It saved lives,
6 of them.
but we haven't turned the overtime completely around yet. 'Cause we just haven't.
Do you see the EMS in jeopardy in the future? Now, let me finish the question so we'll understand each other. Do you see the EMS in jeopardy, Mr. Morton, say within the next 6 months to 2 years, considering how it's been going? And I want you to be very candid and frank with this body here.
Your dollar figures now are not going to reduce. But statewide, the market is shrinking and the Medicare dollars are shrinking and the state dollars are not offsetting. So that's why I say we need to look at our forecasted revenues and our forecasted market and reevaluate where we're at. We're gonna get to the end of the year.
You're gonna get to the end of the year, but what happens next year, Mayor?
In a 5-day, 14-hour truck. I don't think that's responsive enough.
Mr. Skitts, the mayor had made a comment earlier that he was looking at before budget cycle, sitting down and doing some evaluations and setting some figures. So I think it answers your question right there. So we won't know anything until.
But what I think we also ought to factor is that we're missing out on $500,000 worth of hotel motel tax. That is slipping through our fingers and nobody has to raise taxes, period, to fund some of the projects that this county needs.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity to give me those questions for him.
Thank you. See, Rusty, and then Dwayne, you had a question?
Let's forget it.
Okay, Rusty?
I'll finish up, Mr. Bruce. And let me say that, and I've served on this committee 14 years since I've been here. I've mostly been chair. But in the last couple of years, this service has, and it's not just our service, it's services all across the United States. Tennessee's hit hard. Our run volume is dropping. Our cost for a run volume from Medicare, Teen Care is dropping. So you have to stay at the same level. And we want to this commission wants to keep this at the same level of coverage. I don't think we can go below the coverage area with what we've got. And that's my opinion. But the tax dollars are climbing, and then others nose drop. So they're just pacing each other. There was a trend that was gave to us about 2 years, Scott. You may recall that where the EMS world is going to end up at. It's going to, the tax dollars from the higher ups, from the federal and the state, is going to slowly quit coming in. And which is going to make the local tax dollars go up to make it self-sufficient, just like running the sheriff's department or any other department in the county. And you look at the years that the commission has sat down with the director of EMS and the mayor, and has slowly tried to bring this to a level to keep coverage for our citizens. This is why I'd love that. We mentioned that night. Yeah, I love the idea of having first responders, but there's a cost to it. And we've got to stay in that budget parameter. Now this money, Mayor mentioned the other day about maybe trying to find some things, some funding for it. And then he called me today, and we talked today, and he said that he was going to actually, him and Mr. Perkins decided just hold off. Try to get, I can't remember exact words, kind of get everything straightened back up and try it again. And that's where I want to be at. I want this service to be the best service in East Tennessee, whether anybody agrees with me or not. But it's inevitable that we're going to end up, our money is going to, tax dollars is going to climb. Now, I agree with the mayor. I don't want to raise taxes, but there's money out there that we can try to catch on. Graticus has met with us 2 times. The actual, Jeff Marlowe and I had actually talked with the state and trying to get some things worked out with the state handle that money. If the state stands in there and says, hey, this is hotel motel tax, you owe it, then they're going to have to pay it. We never had any teeth since I've been down here to fight this hotel motel tax, make people pay it. But last year, if you recall, the state did a change in internet sales. Used to, if you lived in Jacksboro, and I lived out in the county of Jacksboro, it's 37757. Well, the town of Jacksboro was 37757. They didn't know where to put that money, where the sales dollars went to the city of Jacksboro or went to the county. They fixed that last year. And by knowing that, when this guy from Graticus come in, he started showing us the loss. My little brain started working. It's not real big, Scott, but it's a little small. And the wheels started rolling. I said, if the state can do this with that, let's do it this. And that's a whole day another story. But we're going to have to think outside the box. It's like Bruce has been thinking outside the box to start this program. And do I think the program would work and save lives? Yes. But we've got to look at the cost inside that budget. Now, if somebody's got some funding that they want to throw at it, you know, they want to look at it next month, I don't know. But I feel in my heart this $176,000 was set aside last year and used for that. Now, where we going to be at come January? I do not know. I can't forecast. Historically, the run volume is probably going to decrease. And it's not Mr. Perkins' fault or his crew that run volume's not decreasing. They can't do nothing with that. They can't make the calls happen. But as county commissioners here, we have to make a choice on what we're going to do. And that's left to you all. But my motion stands, Mr. Bruce. My motion is the $176,000 that was set aside for 4 EMTs for a BLS truck that we set across to be utilized and set in that position. And the county commission will have to move it and not be used for personnel or anything else that the commission agrees. So if it's,
You understand your motion?
so if that money is going to have to be
You understand your
offset cost next year, that's what my motion is.
You understand your second, Mr.
But it's still going to be available to this commission, come back in next month and decide to change their mind.
I think we've discussed it enough. You have the motion and the second. Okay, let's vote, please. Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote, please. Okay, I have 11 yes and 1 no and 1 abstain. Okay, it has passed.
Mr. Bruce, Mr. Chairman, I do at least want to say this really, because they do deserve, I'll make it very quickly. You have to commend Director Perkins on the hard effort that he did do with this new program. And you also got to give credit to the mayor for overseeing this here as well. I just think that, and if there were 6 lives saved in 2.5 weeks, I think that this body ought to at least consider trying to help, if we can at all, in the future, if this program works. I know that Director Perkins has got his heart in the chairman, so I just wanna say that, leave it at that.
Mr. Kids, I think that everyone here agrees with that comment.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Orr said he would entertain, thought of doing it later, so they get your word.
Mhm.
If we have an opportunity.
That's fine the money.
I think that you won't have a problem with that. Approval, okay, moving on, for the approval of the monthly payments for the monthly travel credit card usage. My understanding is we had 0 balances for this month, but we still have to, I'll entertain that motion.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion by Goins, second by Kent's. Any discussion? Vote please. Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote, please. 10 yes. Moving on. Reports from county officials and all departments, including Board of Education.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion by Kids, do I have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Davis. Any questions? Vote please. Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote, please. 13 yes. Moving on. Reports from organizations receiving funding from the county.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Kids. Have a second? Seconded by Mr. Ward. Any discussion? Seeing none, vote please. Anyone wish to change their vote? So vote please. Report from organizations receiving funds from the county as passed the commission. Information purpose only, it's the MPDES permit application, here's how that's, moving on down to other matters. Payment for mental health evaluation and treatment services for criminal defendants charged with misdemeanors only, letter and contract attached. I said something has to be voted on, yes, it's not. I'll entertain a motion.
Make it motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Gibbs, do I have a second? Seconded by Power King. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Or,
Has Joe got a chance to look over this, approving the contract? I did. Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Do you feel comfortable, Mr. Coker? Can you tell us a little bit how you feel?
he's already said look over his fine, Scott.
All right.
Okay, any other discussion? Vote please. Anyone wish to change the vote? Show the vote please. 10 yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
The reason I asked him to describe that or explain it, is that the people elected him to do that, and I just want to give him that opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Okay, payroll tax deferment, Mr. Morrow said we definitely have to vote on this one. This is the one where they pulled out the, I think, income tax.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Ward?
This is something the state hasn't even had a thing set up on this, right?
That is correct.
So we need to hold it up or down?
Yes, and it's my understanding, Mr. Morrow said that our department, our finance department doesn't even have the equipment. Is that correct, Amanda?
That's where they actually defer it and get it back and have to pay back what it is.
That's correct. I
I
need a motion. Can you repeat that? I need a motion.
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Gibbs, do I have a second?
Make a motion on what? Whether deferred or not?
Yes.
No.
So, in or out?
Either out.
Opt out.
You want to either opt out or opt in?
That's your motion.
Yeah, opt in or opt out.
Do you want to opt in, or do you want to opt out? That's going to be your motion. You can't be
Do you want to
one or the
defer
other.
it, or do you want to continue?
To continue what I.
As is?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
It would be opt out then.
Yes, so I have a motion by Gibbs,
That's right.
opt out. Do I have a second? Second by Davis, thank you.
I knew what I was talking about.
Any other questions? Zach?
I do just want to say something, already noting not to defer, but, I do think it's, odd that even if we don't want that, despite the fact that, one side of the Congress has decided not to work with the executive branch, that even if we could do this, that we don't have the capabilities.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. All right, any other questions, any other discussion? Seeing none. Mr. Gibbs, your motion is to opt out.
That is correct, sir.
All right, Mr. Davis, you understand your second? Yes, sir. All right. That is correct. Mr. Gibbs' motion.
Right.
Vote, please. Okay, anyone that wants to change their vote, show the vote, please. We have, 11 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstain. It does pass commission. Okay, next on is the APX 8500 multi-band project, 25 radios for each licensed ambulance. Mr. Orr.
I make a motion that we go after the grant for these, it's a,
So
it's a
moved,
no
Mr.
matching
Chairman.
grant, am I correct?
Yes. Got a motion by Orton, seconded by Gibbs. Any discussion? Seeing none, vote please. Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote, please. 10 yes. Moving on down. This is also, I think, dealing with the ambulance service. C light and timer for each licensed ambulance.
And this is also a grant, am I correct?
No. Bruce, can you give us a little guidance on that, please?
Both of these are to be purchased through the state. There's no grant money, it's state money up front. Radios will be purchased, the state's buying them and everything else. The UVC lighting is right now at the state level at the EMS board and senators and congressmen and everything right now discussing. They're wanting to flip what this says. If you'll notice, they asked for us to pay, it's roughly $3,000 to put these in. Depending on, and that was a big number, it could be less, but we would pay for that. Has to be a state vendor, which if we don't have one of those, we have to get them. We're working on that right now. Long story short, if they don't change it, then we have to pay $3,000, up to $3,000 to get them installed. They will reimburse us the money. But they're working on getting that changed to where it'll be just like the radios. They'll pay for it all. We won't be responsible for nothing. I will come back to the commission or let you know as the chairman what the final state ruling is, but we need a vote from the commission so we can go ahead and do this.
Mr. Orr?
Mr. Chairman, is motion to approve the UVC lighting for the ambulances on that office.
Okay, I think Mr. Kids seconded that, so, any more discussion? Seeing none, vote please. Anyone wish to change their vote? So the vote please. Okay. Okay, Mayor, the floor is yours.
Okay. All right, I sent out a T-Dot land purchase agreement endorsement contract. Judge, you have a chance?
I approve of this week's form.
Okay, and it, we mailed out last Monday, the day we met, but I thought we better get it on the floor at least, to consider that that would require suspension of rules. But it is for, improving Highway 90 in the 5th District.
So we need to suspend the rules. I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules, please. Ms. Nance,
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
second by Kids, we're voting on suspension. Vote please. Bruce, I'll get that next, okay? Thank you. Okay, anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote, please. Okay, Mayor.
My understanding that contract's for purposes of informing you, but also getting your consent, because there are right-of-way, purchases that they need to make, and coordinate. Is there anything else we need to do, Bill?
Mr. Chairman, need to add signature lines on it, and I think that was really all that.
Mr. Orr?
Actually, sat down last night and looked at this when it came through. The road superintendent, what's his feelings on it, Mayor? Because it talked about some work that maybe have to be performed through his office and some moving of some
I
roads.
said it to him, but I didn't get a response back yet.
I mean, if it's gonna cost, are they gonna reimburse us for the work that we perform? Because I'm sure, Joe, you've read it probably word for word.
Well, I mean, we reimbursed part of it. You know, and there was some maintenance, ongoing maintenance, you know, that would be, county expense.
Right. They was right of ways and clearing and actual offsets, and we have detours. And this has to be approved tonight, Mayor?
No, but I want to at least make you aware of it, give you the option to.
I'd like to have a letter from Ron Dillback, if he's in conjunction with it. I actually tried to call Ron the other day, but had no avail, and I know they're real busy right now trying to get caught up before the winter hits, but if that's fine, I mean, it's something we gotta do, we gotta do. That's the only thing that scared me when I read it last night, if we're putting the county in some kind of financial strain, and I don't know if it's all chime in if he's ready.
You wanna take it?
If it,
Mr. Mayor, when's this project gonna start? I say, you know, they're looking a year or two ahead.
I won't start without our signature, the way I understand it.
I'd like to make a motion to table this, that will give back his, this is coming out of his budget, his money.
I have a motion to table it, seconded by Owens.
can we actually put a table on it till next meeting?
Yeah, that's all.
That way it's not,
That's our district, we still, yeah, we need to do it right.
it sounds like it's some dangerous places. I know very one we're talking about, not there about half, there's one of them. They got a lot of breaking loose.
Okay, we have a motion to table, so discussion stops, correct, Mr. Coker? All right, Mr. Davis made the table it?
Yes,
So
sir.
next month,
Thanks, Ron.
with, Ron Gilback writing this letter, correct?
Right.
Mr. Owens, you good with that? Okay, now we vote on the table, correct? Voting on the table, please. Carl? Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote, please. 12 yes, this has been tabled until next month.
Should that go before any committee?
And just so it's wrong, they can approve it.
Pardon?
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Just, question. Mayor, you have a question?
All your, I mean, it's your discretion.
Okay. Ralph, you'd ask the question.
Should go before committee so Ron can come in and talk or go on. And then have it took care of by next workshop.
I understand.
Or he could come to the workshop and take care of that.
Rest of you have,
that's, to me, just as long as he's got approval, he says that he gets a thumbs up, sign prayer has, I'm all for it. I mean, that's where it's going to have to be performed. It's Thursday right away. When we start asking about monies and involvement with our highway department, that's his job. It's not ours.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, since everybody's asking questions, can I at least
yeah,
make
go ahead,
mine?
Mr. Gibbs, yes.
What's the county gonna, pay, what monies are we gonna have to do if we have to do any, maybe?
I'll defer to Mr. Gilbeck, if that's.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's usually why this talks.
All right, thank you very much.
That's usually why it's tabled. Okay, so, we'll ask Ron to provide us that information. Mayor, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just one other item, last week, I actually, had a volunteer. We have a vacancy on the planning commission. I can give you a nominee tonight, but it would take suspending the rules to do that.
On the planning commission.
Mr. Kerry Gray.
I'll entertain a motion to, suspend the rules.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Nance. Motion by Kitty, second by Nance, suspend the rules. Voting on suspension. Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote, please. Okay, Mayor, the rules have been suspended. Rules, I promise you ain't forgot you, okay?
Alvin Evans is the 5th district, said he's willing to serve, and I think Mr. Davis is the only representative we have in the 5th district, so I would nominate Mr. Evans.
Marie Ayers, also, she
second district, but we didn't have no one else to
She's in third, Mr. Marie, she is in third, isn't she?
Hey, so I have a motion here. Okay,
Mr. Evans, I nominate Mr.
nominate Mr. Evans. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second his motion.
Have a motion by Davis.
Second, Mr.
Seconded by Orr,
Okay.
to, accept the mayor's recommendation of Alvin Evans to represent the fifth district on the planning commission. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
How long a term is that?
Joe, you remember?
They're staggered.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Zach, and then Dwayne.
Question I was gonna ask with the planning commission, I remember when I first got elected to use that, and I did things, I know like the commissioners on there, some of them are, commission conservative, that's the way. Now, with the others, I was under the impression that it's still a 4-year term, and they were staggered. If that's the case, then some of them, I think they elected 3 or 4 others then, and not gonna have a couple now that needs to be reappointed. Technically, on staggered terms.
That was, Zach, that's something that had to come from the planning commission. From, you know, bring front. I understand your point, but like I said, that would have to be, come from that body. Dwayne?
So we don't get a should the planning commission not give us a recommendation, from, for who they would recommend to be on the planning commission?
No, it comes.
Mr. Coker, I'll defer that to you.
Some of you that have been here for a while, may remember that back several years ago, there was quite a bit of effort that went into determining whose term has expired and what was left of the staggered terms. And you all filled those staggered terms at that time and reappointed some others. And I'm sure that somewhere in the records here, it shows whose term was expired at that time and how they were appointed. And if you go back, I think you'll find that and will probably answer that question. But there hadn't been any records kept about it, apparently for a long time, and it was pretty confusing to try to figure it out. Same thing happened with the 911 board.
We have a motion and a second to accept the mayor's recommendation of Alvin Evans to serve out the remainder of that term of Gary Gray. And if you don't mind, Mayor, get that information to Amanda so we'll know exactly how long he's got. Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, you understand your motion? You understand your second, Ms. Ford? Yes. Okay, vote please. Anyone wish to change your vote? Those vote please. Okay, 12 yes, 1 no. Okay, Mayor, anything else, sir?
No, that's all my portion.
Okay. Okay.
Emergency.
Before we move on, Bruce, you had one other item that need to bring from this body, was dealing with the ambulance service agreement.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have suspension of the rules, as has been
Okay.
voted on.
I think everyone has a copy of the ambulance service. Sue,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Sue made the motion to suspend the rules, Mr. Morrow second. Voting on suspension. Okay, anyone wish to change your vote? Show the vote, please. 13 yes, the rules have been suspended.
Mr. Chairman, there is a new hospice care that is in, which they may not be new in Austin, but new in Campbell County. They have several patients here in Campbell County. Last week on Friday, they contacted me for us to start transporting their patients. The name of the company is Caris, I believe is how it's spelled. Didn't get a copy of the contract sent out to y'all. I sent it to Joe for review. Joe sent back things he seen that need to be fixed. And I believe I did send the correct one back out to you that has all the signature lines that is supposed to be on it, with Joe's signature, the chairman's signature, and the finance director's signature. I reviewed this, it's the standard contract that we've had with other hospice agencies that we deal with. So it just needs approval of the county commission for me to, after you're all signature, for me to go into contract with them. They will pay the same Medicare rate fees like everybody else does. That is on the last page. It's the coded fees is what it says. And those fees are, exactly what all other services pay us, what other agencies pay us.
Make a motion to approve.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Have a second by Ms. Nance. Okay. Motion by Ward, seconded by Ms. Nance to approve the ambulance service agreement. Joe, you looked at it, you're fine with it?
I am.
Okay, very good. Right, you have a
Mayor,
question?
if you look at it, I reviewed it with Bruce. It's standard what we do at the hospital.
Okay. All right, vote please. Anyone wish to change your vote? Still a vote, please. Okay. Bruce, is that all up there?
That's it, thank you, sir.
Before we move on, there's one other, I think, suspension that we had, it was dealing with the election commission. That, Ann had, I think, received a $45,000 grant and everything. So I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules. And a motion to suspend on second. Second by Tyler King. Voting on suspension. Okay. Anyone wish to change their vote? So vote please. 13 yes. Joe, have you seen this? It's my understanding it's a $25,000, I guess, just grant. Doesn't cost the county a penny. It's good, yes. It would be used in the election commission. Yeah.
Motion to approve the grant.
Huh?
Motion to approve the grant.
Okay, I have a motion by Davis to approve, second by Goins. Any questions?
I have one.
Ms. Nance?
Was there any confirmation that there was no match to that? I didn't see that, but I could have missed it.
Mr. O'Kelly?
No, I'm looking at it. So it looks like the federal government's going to $23,810. The state's going to give us $1,190, which is a total of $25,000. There's no dollar amount for the county, looks like. It's totally for security during this election.
Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Davis, you understand your question? Ms. Sue, you understand your
I
second?
do, yes.
All right, vote please. Trustee Carl? Anyone wish to change your vote? Show the vote, please. 13 yes. Okay. Amanda, was there anything else? As far as, I know we had several suspensions tonight, so, saying that.
I have one, but I'll do it on my.
Okay, I got you. I'm sorry, what, ma'am? Okay, moving on over to the recognized county commissioners, introducing resolutions for the debate. As soon as we finish this, I'm gonna finish this. Yes, road resolution, mark it out. Gotcha. All right, we went in reverse order. Mr. Stanfield didn't have any, Mr. Moore didn't have any, Mr. Nancy didn't have any, Zach Marlowe, you had several.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2020-21-9, resolution requesting broadband services in unserved areas.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I have a motion by Marlowe, seconded by Gibbs. Any discussion on it?
Understand it.
Repeat that, please.
Resolution 2020-21-9, resolution requesting broadband services in unserved areas.
discussion?
Yes, sir. I got a call today from the city of Jellicoe, and we would like to have Jellicoe put in that order. Their internet is horrible, and we need it all over the county. It's more on this side, and we need to come through Elk Valley, get our schools. They got internet, but it's very, we all need it. So I'd like for you to add Jellicoe, White Oak, Elk Valley, and all the rest of them to it, and I'll support it.
I don't mind to do that, I would have liked to amend this last
I
week.
can't understand you.
I don't mind to do that, I would like to have that last week.
Well,
Mr. Chairman,
you could, I didn't see this last
if I
week.
may, I was respectfully, Davis, go ahead.
Zach, did you give that out last week?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but anyhow, we need to be on it.
Okay.
Put it on there.
I don't mind to. The reason I didn't actually include your area to begin with is because I wasn't sure what was wrong. I don't mind to do that.
Well, the provider's Comcast, but they suck. Hey, I can't watch TV and be on my phone at the same time. I got them. I need to get rid of them.
Gotcha. Mr. Kidd?
Well, I was just going to, respectfully give Mr. Davis that answer. It says, and any area lacking broadband available in Campbell County, that's all I was going to say.
So they've got internet, it's available.
What
They
are
have to go south.
list those again,
Pardon?
list those that you
Areas.
include again, the areas.
Where? Elk Valley. Come through the Jellicoe, go to White Oak, jump down Habersham, you got a solid. Get right back into the Follet,
Mr. Marlowe, do you
I
have a-
accept the amendment.
Okay,
thank you. Okay, very good. Mr. Kidd, you accept?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Mr. Marlowe, you understand your motion? Mr. Kidd, you understand your second?
Respectfully.
Ready? Ready?
You wanna repeat it?
Okay, what-
Take your mask off, please.
Okay, resolution 2020-21-9, resolution requesting broadband service in unserved areas. And more than likely, this will go to Comcast, and I guess,
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Vote, please. Anyone wish to change the vote? Still vote, please. Continue, Zach. Continue on.
well, that's the only thing that's required of us.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, moving on left, Lisa, nothing, Bush, nothing, Scotty, nothing, Tyler King, nothing. Robert, you recognize your law enforcement, you also have your recreation.
I'd make a motion to approve the law enforcement recognition.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, have a motion by Higgins, second by. Aye.
That'd be fine with me.
Very good.
Good idea.
So a motion by Higgins, a unanimous second to recognize the local law enforcement that we did tonight, correct, Robert? Okay. No discussion? Vote, please. Anyone wish to change the vote? So the vote, please. Yes. Okay, Rob, you have the floor.
Next motion, we had a recreation meeting this evening, about opening up the, West Lomas Young Park. Only thing that needs to be open is the, baseball field, the, outdoor gym area, and the playground. So I'd like to make a motion to let them open the rest of that. Second,
Okay, I have a motion by
it
Higgins.
was recommended by the committee as well.
That's what I was gonna ask you. And seconded by Goins, so it did come out of committee?
It came out of committee, so we'll open up everything out there.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please. Anyone wish to change the vote? So vote, please. 10 yes, Robert. Anything else?
Yeah, next thing we had, recreation committee, it's been probably a couple of years since they've been working on that soccer field, we've been trying to get dirt hauled in there, there was approximately about $50,000 worth of, dirt that needed to be hauled in. I come up with some kind of resolution to make some kind of signage, also put in requests for people to, be able to dump, fill dirt or rock and stuff out there. Go ahead and backfill the soccer field and they can start playing game stuff up there, which it'll probably be next several months' time they get it completed. And I spoke with the mayor, he said he'd like to draft up a liability waiver letter. Mr. Cobra, I mean, we don't have to do a liability waiver if they dump out there at the sanitation department, so I don't know why we need it here. I mean, what do you recommend, Mr. Cobra?
I'll draft one.
Are you making it into a motion?
I'll make that into a motion.
Okay.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion from Anita Martin, seconded by Kids, to open up the individuals to draw, to.
To dump there at the soccer field.
Yeah.
Plain rock and dirt.
Plain rock and dirt, okay?
Mr. Chairman, also want to, Mr. Higginbotham, what all did also the mayor wanted in with that besides this, something about, you know, what he had said, I guess, too, about.
That's what I just stated, for Mr. Cobra drafted up a liability letter.
That was it.
Okay.
Okay. Carl?
When did you plan on start?
Just as soon as possible, as soon as we get the letter drafted up, and then just next couple of days, I hope.
He's gonna talk to,
Ron Dillon,
Ron Dillon too.
Jay Lutz is gonna be out there. There'll be somebody out there at the gate, you know, open, close, or whatever.
That was one of the things I discussed.
Mr. Chairman,
Just a second. Mr. Douglas?
What I'm concerned about is what Joe's going to type up about the liability. If somebody's going to contact you or outside of the hours, they're going to haul the dirt and all that stuff.
No, it'll be just individuals, I guess. It's all out there, if they wanna go down, just like any personal, if I got a truck, I can go down, you know, rock, dirt, whatever, you know.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
If it's gonna be all the different people, you're gonna have liability insurance in case one of this, I don't care if it's working for somebody else.
Yeah, I think we got insurance covered that, but I mean, also the company should have it as well, so I think we should be pretty covered. But I guess, anybody that's coming out there, they'll have to, you know, sign that waiver. So I'll,
The liability waiver is not really where I would see the issue here. The issue I would see is you're gonna need to have somebody in charge out there when these people come, so that they don't dump junk and
Right.
contaminated material and
Well, that's
stuff
what
they
we
want to get rid of. You know, the waiver itself is not really an issue. That's an operational decision that will have to be made by the supervisor out there.
I spoke to Mr. Lutz, he said,
Okay.
has somebody else come on.
Scott?
Well, let me get a little bit more specific here, Mr. Coker, if you don't mind. You've been doing this for many years. Now, I understand the waiver, okay, that holds, what exactly do you think that needs to be done here then? Because it's not really clarified, because the waiver ain't gonna really do it here. And I can concur with Mr. Douglas about where he's coming from. Can you explain that to us, please?
We're saying the same thing here. The waiver simply says that they will hold the county harmless for any, injuries or damages that they might sustain while they're in the process of loading and unloading. But I'm saying to you, I think that's not enough, that you're gonna need your director out there to have some guidelines that people are gonna have to say, okay, in addition to that, I signed here that I'm not gonna bring anything out here that's gonna have contaminated material and as you said, clean dirt and rock, you know, but that's what it's going to be. There's not gonna be any other, foreign material in it. No oak trees or things that are gonna deteriorate, you know, over time, you're gonna want to be compacted and it will last. The waiver itself is, the waiver of liability is not going to accomplish that. That's
That's
for
right.
somebody there on the ground that's gonna look at what's being brought in there and say, yeah, you can dump that, and you need to dump it over here, tell, to give them some direction on what to do.
Scotty, that was what we discussed in the meeting.
Yeah, I know that.
Recreation meeting, that the attendant out there, the gate's gonna be locked. So anybody that's bringing any dirt or anything in has to have the attendant to unlock it and let them in, just show them where it's gonna be dumped at. That was what was discussed in the meeting.
Mr.
So,
Chairman.
we should be good there. Ms. Sue, just a second. Rusty, and then,
And I actually come in on the last part of that meeting and overheard this, and I think you was already here, Scott. The only problem I have, once you open the floodgates up, and that's, I mentioned that in the committee, what are they gonna bring out from? Bobby Christ is right on Toe Stream Road, and lets people bring concrete materials, all kinds of rock materials in. He's filled in that hole. He'll site since I've been alive. But every once in a while, they'll back in there and catch the gate open and dump a load of garbage, a load of brush, and a load of logs. And Bobby has to go out there and load it all up and haul it somewhere else, So that's the only problem I have with it. I just want it to be done while the tenants are available, not at night. You end up causing another dump site.
Robert, you wanna hold off on this, the next, so we get guidance, so you have everything else.
I think we pretty much discussed it in the recommendation.
And it passed the committee, okay, I'm good with it. Ms. Sue?
I understood the reason for the liability, one of the reasons, the road that goes down to where you dump is a one-lane narrow road.
Yes, ma'am.
With the danger of actually, if you aren't careful, going in the lake there. It was not exactly for what they done, but.
I think
not
that's-
that they were going to get,
That's what
In
we
the
have
lake,
guidance from the road superintendent.
and probably, if I was gonna say, Joe probably needs to talk to Jay Muncy to see exactly what he was saying.
Yes, ma'am. Robert, repeat your motion again, please.
The motion is to allow Mr. Coker to draft up a liability letter for anyone hauling to the soccer field, fill the other cost.
Okay, got it. Mr. Kent, you good with that? You got your motion? Carl?
Could we hold up on vote on this for the next meeting until we get the letters, sealed up and what it's saying?
I don't think anything has to be done until the letter is drafted. I mean, if we push off another month, we're gonna be in the winter months and we won't actually start playing in the spring. Now, this thing has been going on for 2 years, trying to get completed.
I understand what you're saying. Mr. Douglas is asking, hold it off, until we have everything in place to do it. It's your motion.
I think if we go ahead and draft the letter up, the liability letter, don't let anybody out there keep the gate locked until everything's through. We can make we can put the paper, make an announcement, say, hey, it's open. I can call another recreation meeting and go from there with it.
Mr. Davis, you have a question?
All right, my understanding is to let Mr. Coker draft up a resolution, and then we can let him go, we can vote, go ahead and let him do that. Then come back next month, approve the letter, and be done. The action, yes.
Is that what you're saying, Rusty?
Yes, because all the motion is draft the letter.
Right.
We not have permission to start taking this season, so.
Okay, that good with you, Mr. Peabody? Mr. Gibbs?
Yes, sir.
All right, so any more discussion? Vote, please. Anyone wish to change your vote? Show the vote, please. 12 yes, 1 no, that motion passed. Mr. Peabody, anything else?
I may have to, make a motion to suspend the rules. It was brought to my attention this evening that, Mr. Burns was actually hitting on me a little bit. It's about, they done some work up there at the Walnut Mountain Repeaters with the county. They can't get no signal or anything out there, having problems with the radios. I know we discussed that, took care of the problem,
suspend the rules to discuss that?
Yeah, we can, so I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a second by Kent, voting on suspension. Rusty. Any more wish to change the vote? Show the vote, please. Well, rules have been, guys, I'll tell you what, we've suspended the rules a lot, not having Joe.
Commissioner Marlowe's, motion back several months ago about suspending the rules.
I understand. Robbie, listen, go ahead.
It's brought to my attention by Campbell County officers, and this officer here may be able to tell you, we're having a lot of problems with, getting out on the portable radios, and it's a very big safety concern for the officers trying to get out. We need to try to address it, pretty quick.
That'd be something that would fall under the mayor's, guidance, Johnny's,
We can address that, Johnny, can talk to the mayor about it, see what we can't get done, with the sheriff's department, bring it before the commission, because it's a big safety issue.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Gordon?
how long has this been going on? I've not heard the first word of it.
I just got a call this evening from Dustin Davis called.
So from 911, Dustin, 911 called, and,
Well, no, county officer called.
okay, I'm thinking about Donnie. Donnie works in
Yeah,
911.
Donnie and, his dad mentioned the two.
See, when we went into this, all the entities, the ambulance service, the EMA, the sheriff's department, all the fire departments, everybody had part to play in this and had to pay part for these repeaters. And Jay Muncie is actually the person that is over all that. So if we need to do something, I guess we could make a motion, and it's needed that bad, that their repeaters are down, we're gonna have to get them fixed. But I've not heard that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Can he,
Well, just a second, Mr.
Mr. Chairman, we got an officer back here, he's been having trouble with repeaters.
Yes, sir.
Is it the digital side, or is it the?
No, we are not digital. We are still analog, and we have been analog. The issues with the repeaters have been going on for a while. We're in it about a month now, I guess, without that.
It's the
repeater.
walnut mount repeater?
It is the walnut mount repeater that's down. I think 911 and some of the folks at our office are working for a resolution of that now. What that resolution is, I have no
One at Campbell
idea.
Mountain,
We are still operating on the Campbell Mountain repeater for this entire region of Campbell County.
Mr. Chairman, while we're at
There's a lot of
Just
areas.
a second. Mr. Clark, you gonna make a motion?
Yeah, we need to make a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman,
Wait a
second.
second, Mr. Kent.
I'll make a motion to address the walnut mountain paper.
We have a motion. Second by Kent. Now we can discuss.
Mr. Chairman, what I was just going
Just,
to,
Mr. Gordon, please.
I'm sorry.
I think the commission needs to go ahead and address it. We're having trouble with it right now. We just need to make a motion to get Jay Muncie and the people that's the sheriff's department, all the people in play, find out what's going on and get fixed. Because we're actually, I think we entered into agreement, didn't we, Joe, with a person that takes care of that? The guy had actually sold it out, decided he didn't want it no more, and it was a big up-to-do, and it came up just like this, overnight, and we had to do something. So, if that's fine with Mr. Hickerboff, we just send it straight to Jay and call him after the meeting and say, go find out what's going on.
Excuse me, Ms. Scotty?
yeah, I just want to say, add to that there's no, we have to have service put up in there, because it's nothing no more important than a life. We need to take care of that, 'cause- and you got the source right back here that knows.
Understand. Your second's good?
Yes, sir.
Ralph?
Well, why hasn't, it's been a month, it's been down for 2 days. Tell us you should have known about it, and fixed.
I'll have to concur with Mr. Davis on that.
Well, just a second.
Okay, it should have been addressed long before this, rather than slacking somebody doing the job. 911 needs to let them know, whoever knows it's down, needs to immediately let them know the struggle. You'll holler, lives matter, but it does when you've been down the line.
One more question to the source. Can you tell us about how long this has been going on? That's all I need to know. What, about a month or longer?
About a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. You understand your motion? Where you have, it's to direct this to Jay Muncie to to take care of the issue. Scotty, you understand?
Yes, sir.
It's
Okay.
appropriate authorities.
And the appropriate.
If that's fine.
Let's vote, please. Anyone wish to change the vote? Show the vote, please. 13 yes, it goes to Jay Muncy, okay? All right, is that all of them?
That's it.
Oh, Ralph, you have 4.
Just in the rules.
Seriously.
Okay, I'm, okay.
I need to make a motion to suspend the rules to, for a new resolution on the liquor control.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion by Davis, seconded by Gibbs, to suspend the rules. Voting on suspension. Ms. Sue.
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion to get some new batteries.
Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote, please. We have 12 yes, 1 no, so the rules have been suspended. Mr. Davis, you have 4.
All right. I make a motion to install resolution 2020-9-21. Any commercial hauler and contractor bypassing the scales at Toll Stream Road or dumping at any of our convenience centers in Campbell County will be fined $250 first offense, $500 to second offense, $1,000 to third offense, and suspended from using the county's facilities for 1 year.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion. And this is through the sheriff's department.
Do I have a second? I'm sorry, second. Scott? We have a motion by Davis, seconded by Stanfield. Any questions?
Where does the money go?
I would say go through the sanitation, general.
Now, it goes back to, no, well, when it goes to court, it comes back to the county and goes into the 101.
And Dwayne,
The enforcement of the sheriff's department,
I'm sorry, Dwayne?
the sheriff's department's enforcement,
The litter control, he works for the sheriff's department.
just so that way I go to the sheriff's department for enforcement.
Yeah, I understand.
Dwayne, I'm
Just
just,
so that way I go to the sheriff's department for enforcement.
you think he said some of it should go to the sheriff's department?
Well, they split it out, it goes to everybody, it just goes back into.
Yeah, there you go. Robert?
Who sets the, rate?
We did, right here, that's it. We had a resolution done in like 2002, and it was for out-of-county dumpers coming in, and we went to the district attorney, and this resolution does not, that resolution was $100 fine the first time and $500 the second. But this one here will allow the sheriff's department through the liquor control officer, I didn't want to mention his name, because if his name is that, then when he quits, we have to redo it, but it's through the sheriff's department. And today, we could have fined 2 people. Last week, in the last month and a half, we have caught 1 person doing it 4 different times, and the resolution won't let us stop them. They're bypassing the scales, costing the county thousands of dollars, and we gotta put a stop to it.
That's your
That's
motion. And your second, Mr. Stanfield?
Mr. Chairman?
Hold your second, Mr. Gibbs. Mr. Stanfield? Okay. Mr. Gibbs, you have a question?
If you don't mind, it went so quickly, I really appreciate the respect you to say your emotion if you don't mind.
You say? All right.
Yeah, please do.
Here we go. Motion is for resolution 2020-19-21, that's the year today. Any commercial hauler or contractor bypassing the scales at Toll Stream Road or dumping at any convenience center in the county will be fined $250 for the first offense, $500 for the second offense, $1,000 if they're caught 3 times and suspended from working and bringing anything to the county for 1 year.
That answers your question, Mr. Gibbs?
Okay, I'm still got a question.
Go ahead.
Well, if that's the case, I think that the commercial people that's doing garbage or whatever they're hauling, don't matter, they're gonna have to know that before them not to even do that. So, so we're probably gonna have to maybe let Bill know and let his people, you know, they gotta know that, you know, because nobody wants to get in trouble, nobody wants to do, you know, but them going against county policies and doing it, cheating the people with tax dollars, I'm 110% against that. It don't matter who it is, family, anybody, don't need to do that. But I think the people need to be more aware of it out there that come in, something, I just know what's the solution for that, you
It's my
think?
understanding is that Mr. Rutherford has already got in touch with those people and.
Mr. Rutherford and Vince Mundy agreed to this, and the people that's bypassing it's been working for this county for years, Scott, and you know them, and they know the law. They're not supposed to go out and sneak in and throw it away. And they can be told. We put it in the paper.
That's probably where I'm coming from. They're gonna have something, there's some way they're gonna have to know. Some of these people are literally.
I call for the question.
Okay, no.
I call for the question, that's fine.
No.
What's the resolution number again?
Read the resolution.
The resolution is to this year,
What's the
2020.
resolution number?
2020-9-21.
Okay. Just
Sanitation.
making sure it wasn't exact, I
Gotcha.
just making sure it wasn't accurate.
Joe, what was
Yeah.
the question, correct? Call for the question.
Call for the question, as I was listening to the way the resolution was read, it said to bypass the scales, and then right after that, it said, we're dumping at the convenience center. Well, that's what people do when they go, that
But-
needs to be reworded.
Now, Mr. Coker, I'll read again to you. The motion says, if any contractor or commercial hauler, it has nothing to do with, individuals, it's contractors being paid to come out there. They're charging you and me, pick up our garbage, they know they're supposed to pay to have it done. That's any commercial or contractor hauler bypassing the scales, that means only scale we got to Jacksboro, or Cold Spring Road.
Next thing I was listening.
All right, and then some. Or if they're caught taking their garbage to any of the convenience centers. See, some of them are going out into convenience centers and dumping it and not coming in too. So they're getting away with it. They'll go up here tomorrow and here today and switching around. So that's why bypassing, if I take it to Oswego, then I bypass the scales, I didn't come up here. That's why I said,
Is that good, Mr. Coker?
thank you.
Okay, guys, we're voting on the question. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. you-
That's correct.
You call for it, you can actually make a decision.
We've had the call for the question. Any more discussion? Then we'll be voting on the resolution. Mr. Davis, you understand your motion?
Yes, sir.
You understand your second, Scott?
Yeah, I got one more question.
Okay. Katie, let's call for the question. Roll call, please. Anyone wish to change their vote? Show the vote, please. 12 yes. Mr. Davis, it has passed commission. Anything else, sir? I would like to state that we have 12 yes and 1 no.
Who voted no?
Mr. Scotty Kidd.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
No, that was it. What I had on my docket is to be put off the next month.
Okay. Got a couple of things before we break into our committees, okay? I think we have a young lady here from Congressman Flashman's office. Would you like to speak? I'm sorry we failed you so
Oh,
much.
no, it's a pleasure to be here. I just wanted to come and be with you all and bring greetings on behalf of Congressman Fleshman. He is in DC this week and is very pleased to serve the people of Campbell County, and if there's, if you all have concerns that you would like me to pass on to him, I'll be happy to do so. And if there's any assistance that we can provide from federal agencies, we're happy to do that as well. And always proud to be here, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Orchid, Campbell.
Thank you for coming, but tell them we need some money.
Everybody always.
That's right, everybody needs money. Also,
Can I ask you a question?
just a second, okay?
Okay, it's about my,
I'll let you do a second. Also, we have our trustee, Monty Bullock. Monty, do you have anything you'd like to bring from this body?
No, I just joined in now.
Hey, also, you didn't have anything to tonight either. I understand. Ralph, you said you had something you need to ask Joe.
Joe, you had some paperwork that sent to you from Ron Dillback about, a road right away. Did y'all get that straightened out? You've been going on vacation, so you may not know about it. Iron Mountain.
Keep talking here.
When Iron Mountain, when the road was put in back a few years ago, they were, gentlemen gave them right. He gave them the right to remove the road out of the holler over.
Yes,
Word of mouth.
I could not find any documents where that had occurred, and I emailed back to send me copies of what had been donated or bought or whatever, and I didn't get a response back.
Okay, my understanding was, they just, I'm just gonna use the footage, y'all got a map on it, y'all got your, the road was going to the left, and they took 20 foot of that road and moved it up here on this 20 foot, and they just swapped the property.
There wasn't anything on record that.
No, but anything we can do to, clarify that it's his property. Because right now it shows it's highway department. Ron sent us out a letter and, abolishing the county road and swapping it, but I can wait for next month, but if you want to.
Did it ever go through the planning commission?
No, it was just, they were,
The things are verbal.
based on my understanding, I remember this, but not talking to the landowners. They had so many days to get that road done, and they was gonna lose $1 million, and this helped them get it done quicker and better road, and they just, it's one of them handshake deals that, Mr. Douglas, Mike Douglas said, okay, I'll swap you this, and you just give me back your part. And that was the deal they made, so that the county would lose $1 million and we get that.
It's not gonna have anything to do with the tank up or.
No,
The tank's right, I pulled it up on the map from last night, the tank's, my fault utilities tank's right there close by.
It's on the other side, up on
Yeah,
the
the road actually used to come around right next to it.
And now it's moved over. But any action we can take or wait?
I need to check.
Okay, all right, okay, all right, I'm done.
I guess I could be that by way of an exchange.
Yeah, okay.
That would mean that you would not.
I'm thinking this brother might be the one you need to talk to.
Yeah, Dennis was road superintendent, I know for sure.
I'm done.
I will say this, while we were all off and at home, we must have thought of a lot of things, you know, that we could bring up some good rules on tonight, but hey, guys. I'm with you. See what let's do, let's take about 10 minutes, please break into your districts and, see who's going to committees, and then we'll come back and. Ms. Sue, fourth district's good all the way around, correct?
We're just perfect.
The only thing, instead of me, put